G'day, we're Inforunners. I'm Execute, joined today again by Jon, that's filling in for Argo, who's feeling a little bit under the weather for this one as well. We just finished recording a video on the Golem. We're going to be recording this one for the Atlas Geo, and this will be like a supplemental that we release midweek, because this will be a bit of a shorter one, won't it, Jon?
But hopefully, yes, because I've got to go for dinner.
Yeah, you can tell Jon fixed his light too. I yelled at him, and he fixed it, so it's much better than the last video.
Hello, light.
Yeah. Right, so we'll cut it over to the game. Do you want to share any of your thoughts, Jon, with the Geo just off the bat?
Well, I'm going to treat it like a small rock, except this will bounce up and down mountains a lot easier.
Yeah.
Whenever you're mining outside your ship, I'd advise you to always position yourself so when you're mining, you can still see your ship, because pirates are still around and they can steal your ship, especially if you leave it open like some people do.
Yeah.
But
well,
I haven't done a
it's
lot of
because like I couldn't be bothered getting out of the suit to get back in it, to flick a switch and get it. Was a pain in the butt. And it's really hard to flick the switch in the suit, but you can get into it. But one thing I do want to bring up is this concierge suit. It'll forever now be known as the Beetlejuice suit, because it really does make the Atlas look like Beetlejuice. I just can't. Whoever put the stripes on it.
Just don't say it again.
Beetlejuice. But yeah, it's just I can't unsee it. Once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. But yeah, I think you are fundamentally right, Jon. I think this does kill the rock a lot for me. Obviously, the advantage of it is that you can have a lot more storage in the other two rocks. But again, if you're working in a bit of a group and you were doing like a swarm activity, I can't imagine how much better these are going to be in caves, because some of the jumping we've been doing this week has been absolutely nuts, and you can kind of hover a little bit as well, which is kind of cool. And if you get the jump high enough, they do actually do like a superhero landing as well. I'll try and don't know if it's going to do it. No, it did do it. So I gotta get it high enough, but yeah, maybe later. But you know, the way they move is really awesome, and they do show you about a lot about what the future of these suits is going to be. I also do believe that this backpack will be interchangeable. So for example, if you go into Astro Armada, there's actually a really old concept image there that was of like a guy in a pack, and we didn't realize at the time, but it's identical to these. So basically, I believe that is like a salvage variant, and obviously you can, if you want to jump back around on the atmosphere with a jetpack, you could do this. But maybe if you want one, I know the jets are coming out of the arms stuff, but maybe if you need one that doesn't carry a cargo box, but it carries like oxygen, you can put that on instead. So you can have one that works in space, but also one that works on the atmosphere or on the planet. I don't know what you think about that, Jon, but do you think that might be a possibility in the future?
I hadn't even thought about that, because I didn't even know about the old site you was on about. So that is very good.
Yeah.
The thing I didn't like when it first come out was why didn't they do an add-on for the Atlas instead of making a completely new one?
Money, Jon. Big companies need money to live and survive and eat like everyone else. Yeah, it's clearly a bit of a dirty money grab, and I would rather they do that down here at the low end than do it at the high end. So if they're going to do it somewhere, like, can you imagine if you couldn't get a CCU to a $5 ship and it was $500? That would be really annoying. But I don't mind it so much down here. You can clearly see they've done it just to get a little bit extra money, and it is annoying, I'm going to be honest with you, but I don't know. It also depends what angle you see it from, because for me, I'd prefer the Atlas over the Atlas Geo, but I can see there would be people that would prefer the Geo. It sucks, unfortunately. That's just how it is. Yeah, other than money, I can't really give you any other reason, unless you can think of one, Jon.
Well, that is a good enough reason, but they're getting variants of everything, so why not with a suit as well?
Yeah.
I don't think you need to do that in third person, mate.
I'm just doing it because it looks cool, John. Leave me alone. I'm doing what looks cool.
Leave me alone.
Right. So yeah. It is a lot just like a rock. There is no real difference. I'm gonna do a little bit of mining here while we talk, John. If you don't mind.
No, I don't mind.
Some of the stuff that we have been finding though, when you and I went out for testing purposes, John, was some of the new rocks are really like pinatas. They just so we haven't done this one before, so there's probably like a really bad example for the video, but one of the ones we found, it started with F. What was it? It was like felinine. It was almost like a cat name, but a rock.
Yes.
And when we hit it with a laser, they just went so far. It was ridiculous. And then there was other ones where they just drop in a little pile and they don't really do anything. And they're the ones that you want, because obviously they suck up as a group then.
That's a big green.
It is a very big green. That's another thing we've found, is that sometimes the green, we've seen greens up to 2/3 the length of the entire screen. All right, how's it going to go? Oh, nice. That was actually pretty...
Oh, that's not bad.
Pretty reasonable. See, I can suck up a bunch at a time. The one we're talking about, they spread out so far, we were seeing rocks up to 60 meters away. Yeah. That's the other thing I should show as well. The scanning, it seemed, from what we can see, roughly the scanning is around about 200 meters. So it is, in a weird way, it's kind of like our first version of hand scanning. I know it's a vehicle, but you get what I'm trying to say, don't you, John? I believe. Would you kind of agree with that? It's yeah. So hopefully they. I haven't gone out and tested this on the Rock and the Rock DS, but hopefully that's got this functionality as well. So yeah.
Well, yeah, you can scan with the Rock and Rock DS as well.
Yep. That's good. Because again,
I wouldn't put a level on it at the moment, because we haven't done a distance work really. We've let the plane find them.
Well, I was doing some testing when we're out in it the other day, and as I said, I found the limit seems to be about 200, but it could be more. The furthest thing I scanned was 200, was just under 200 meters. So yeah, you're right. It could be a bigger limit than that, but 200 meters on foot is still fairly large in my book anyway. So yeah. Yeah. I again, for me, the Geo is not something that I would pick up. I am not a big fan of hand mining. I know, John, you've said that it can be very profitable though.
With the Rock, because what they've done with mining now, I've got to learn it all over again, because they fetched in so much stuff. I knew what I was looking for before. Now I've got to grab stuff like you're grabbing now.
Yeah.
To find out exactly what that's going to be worth, and whether it's worth mining or not, or whether that you mine stuff like this, take it somewhere, and they use it for a specific reason. There's so much more involved with the mining now than what there was before, when it's like learning it all over again.
See if we can get a hero landing. Oh, damn it, it's not doing it now. I was doing it on the hangar before, I was doing it every single time, but it's not doing it now. Might be something to do with the soft sand or whatever. But yeah, so for me, I think I would still take this. If you were into hand mining, I would prefer this. Would you prefer this, John, over the Rock DS? And
well, I don't think much of the Rock DS as it stands.
Or the Rock as well.
Outside,
yeah.
I would rather have the Rock, because you've got to take a vehicle anyway.
So what?
The Geo.
So what I'm saying is, do you prefer?
Holds more.
Do you prefer the Rock over this?
Yes, at the moment.
Okay. Right.
I could have this if you want to have fun jumping about mountains and stuff.
Yeah, I think this is going to be better in the long run because of the mobility, and it can go into smaller caves and stuff like that. But you are right; you essentially need to take the ship to get it to places. But you got to do that with the Rock anyway. And the other thing is, you can put a lot more of these in a ship over the number of rocks. Right? We know you can get 2 rocks in a Cutlass. I would argue you could probably get 6 to 10 of these in a Cutlass. Right? So that's a lot more. You know, a bit more of an operation.
In a Cutlass Black, you can get 3. You could get 3 rocks in there.
Yeah, but my point still stands. You can get a lot more
of these in there. It all depends on the size of group you've got and what you want to do. Because if you get fed up of mining, you can just go and play Hulk jumping around the moon.
We did have some really cool jump around stuff when we were out with Piggles some testing, and he was doing like Hulk or what do you call it, Hulk or King Kong. Like he jumped off the back of my Spirit. I was turning around and said, "Oh, look at this really nice sunset here," and he just goes Rah! Like straight out of the back of across the sun. It was great, and I was like smiling like a kid in a candy store. So it was great. But
and he did a superhero landing as well when he came, because he
yeah,
was a damn size
yeah.
higher.
Well, we also took it up a really tall mountain and did the same thing, and he was able to hover for quite a way, and before he dropped. And man, like it was like what you can already see that this can do, and then you add the combat, you add the possibility of ones that move faster. Oh man, we're in for some treats. Like I think we're going to really grab a very big Titanfall crowd when these things drop, because there's just the potential of these things. There's nothing. Titanfall was the only other game that comes close. Let's just put it that way. At the moment, and I think
the other point.
You go ahead.
And the other point you made was these will trump the rock in caves.
Oh yeah,
without a shadow of a doubt.
sure.
And
Yeah.
they're bringing in more caves all the time, aren't they?
Yeah, I still find this a very hard purchase at $45. Especially with the pack that I talked about in the last episode about the Golem. If you actually deduct all the extras that come with that Golem pack at $67.50, it literally goes down to $29 value just for the ship, right? So when you put that next to the Golem that's at 45, and it doesn't come with the game, it doesn't come with almost anything other than the concierge skin if you buy a concierge version. You know what I mean? Like I just can't swallow it. Me and Algrid on the stream this week, we did do the math on this, right? And essentially this should be $7.50. Based on the price of the Aurora ES, like we took the cheapest ships in the game and kind of did the math, and it worked out to around $7.50. And we thought, being generous and giving them $20, but no, it's $45. It's $45 for this, and I just, no matter how you swing it, no vehicle is ever going to equal a ship. So they know they're milking people for these vehicles, and I would tell you my takeaway, John, and I think you'd agree with me on this. I know Agrid would. It's a vehicle. If you don't desperately need it, earn it in game. Yes, you may need to wait 6 months to earn it in game, but the last Atlas was so complained about. It was in game within a month, right?
I thought it was in game as soon as the patch dropped.
The last I remember looking in the last reports that I've had, it was in game within a month. People were talking about it on the stream, and they said it was in game within a month. So I'm not going to get into semantics, but I think we'll agree it was there earlier than it should have been. Yes, that'll agree on. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, basically it's supposed to be. Is it 3 months, 6 months?
6 months usually.
They say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In most games, it's usually, so. For example, if you take something like Rainbow Six Siege, if you buy the content. That actually is only 7 days, but most DLCs, they usually have a 3-month window. For some reason, Star Citizen's decided to increase theirs to 6 because they obviously found people were just waiting rather than buying. So they're trying to make it untenable not to have these ships for that amount of time. Obviously, if you're a subscriber, I think you get it for the first 5 days that it drops, so you get to at least try it out. But maybe that's in a way to sweeten the pot of subscribers. You get that ship for the whole, to it, it's available in game. That might be a cool feature they could add to subscriptions anyway. So is there anything you would like to ask from people in the comments below, John, about the Geo?
I think you've covered most of it, but why would people, what I'd like to know is, why would they buy this instead of the Rock?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think it's the mobility for me. And also verticality is going to be a really important one. The Rock's not going to be able to match it in verticality. But yeah, I'll ask you the same kind of question John did, and then probably tack on, can you see the value in this? So it's like most vehicles. I just cannot see the value in them. And I did buy an Atlas, I'm going to be honest with that, because it was the first Titan suit. So I guess it's got to speak to you would be my answer to my own question. But yeah, I'd like to know why, if you got one, why did you get one? Yeah, or you're like Agri and you got to collect them all. So yeah, all right.
But no, I haven't got to collect them all. What I would do was wait for it to be in game, buy it with in-game money, and then if there's a few of you about, and you just want to go and have shenanigans on, like Daymar, where the gravity is very low, and you can go and jump up mountains and then jump off, see who can go the farthest and things. That's what we used to do with the ground vehicles when they first come out.
I'm pretty sure we'll see some form of bunny hopping like races with these things in no time flat. So yeah. All right.
Yes.
With that, then don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and thank you to everyone that went the extra mile on Patreon and video. John, you also stop doing that. Right. With that, then say goodbye, John.
Goodbye, John.
All right.
He doesn't like that.
No, he just likes laughing at me. Thank you, John. You pain in the ass. Right. He's been John. I've been Execute. See you next time, citizen.
You call this noise?